hope I don't lose this. Excellent. I want to talk about the comments section on Lucy Letby videos. So specifically Crime Scene to Courtroom. So John, the author of Crime Scene to Courtroom, was covering the case, the court case while it was happening, and uploading weekly or whatever it was. I think it was as many transcripts as he could get hold of. So we're going to go back 2 years ago. I've just picked one at random. So
text messages and WhatsApp messages
I want to go into
sent to and from
the
Letby's
comment
phone the
section.
morning after child C died.
And you might be thinking, oh, you know, why does it matter what random people on the internet think? Because these are viewers of the channel who have been basically, the commentators are another form of jury. You know, jury are picked out randomly from the population. There's no test that they have to perform. I think a judge asks, you know, are you impartial, and or not, and one woman might say, oh, I hate blondes, so I'm prejudiced or something. But other than that, what the people say in the comments are a mishmash of random people, just as much as what the jury are. And when I'm listening to the evidence, I think most of what he gives, if not all, is the prosecution's side. But to me, that doesn't matter. I was listening to John's channel 2 years ago. I've been, you know, all the way up to today. And this is what I don't quite understand about I don't know if it's something wrong with myself, but well, it can't be me because there's others. But you know, am I a ghoul and misfit, as Liz Hole put it? When I'm listening to the testimony and the quote unquote evidence of just, you know, what happened, what people were saying, and waiting for evidence of a crime, and other people, I'm assuming the people that have commented on these videos have also listened to the videos. I mean, they're 20 minutes long, some of them are an hour long, some of them longer. I'm assuming they've listened to them up to this point. You know, if they, I know people's attention span is really low nowadays, but I can only assume that if they're commenting on something, they must have listened to some of it. So this is what I'm not quite understanding, why so many of the comments seem to think that she's guilty. I mean, is there something wrong with me to not be able to hear any evidence of guilt, yet the commenters / jury say otherwise? So this video was let's go back to some old comments 2 years ago. You know, so many people are hard pressed to find the sweet looking blonde white woman guilty. I mean, to me, especially after seeing all those police mug shots, I do like blondes, but it's nothing. To be honest, I don't. She's not exactly attractive. Well, not in those photos. I don't know. I don't know. She looks alright in some others, but I wonder if the details were just slightly changed. What if she was a redhead? What if she was overweight? What if she was a male? no, it's just funny to see how our bias works subconsciously. So these people are, this person's maybe thinking that we shouldn't be thinking she's innocent. Um, Something about a nurse or doctor wandering the hospital at night killing is chilling. Oh, this one's still on the fence for now though. Okay. Um, it's disturbing the way all the staff talk about the deaths of these babies over WhatsApp. Now, Lucy was WhatsApping friends. I think she seemed to me she was taking her work home with her because that was in her nature. I wouldn't have said it was. I personally wouldn't have said it was disturbing. Um, I've been on jury service and we. Sorry, I read really slowly. I've been on jury service and we all came to a not guilty. The judge was very good. Blah blah blah. I must say that to be on the left because up to now it's still reasonable doubt for me. I do okay. So that one was fairly non-biased. It's all about her and her feelings, even though she repeatedly said it's not about her. I find them quite disturbing, and they scream narcissistic tendencies. Yeah. Okay, there's definitely some sort of cold, calculating, attention-seeking personality disorder here. I mean, I didn't get that at all from the messages at all. I just got. I mean, maybe she reminds me of an ex-girlfriend of mine and the way she would message me, but I personally didn't get any of that. But this looks like possibly a woman who's posted that, and it's got a couple of likes as well. Oh, this one's got 12 likes. She shouldn't be messaging anyone, even if they are colleagues. Well, look, WhatsApp messages, I think even 2 years ago, are private. And I mean, the whole notion of them even going through her messages, like that is, when all comes, when all is said and done, is she going to get, to start off with? I just didn't. I found it quite I would find it so intrusive if someone was reading all, if all of my text messages got put out there for the public to read. I'm like, they're personal, even though, it's not like she was sending OnlyFans pictures or anything like that. They were normal messages that you might send to family members. What else have we got? So back here, most of the comments are 2 years ago. They're sort of leaning on the guilty, leaning to these psychopaths would do anything. What a horrid woman! Those poor babies and family. And that's from a woman. But I'm wondering. Oh, so this person thinks she's clearly innocent, but this person, what a horrid woman! These poor babies and families. Well, where have you got that? Lucifer Letby. Mad attention seeker. Where are they getting this from? And so just remember, this is sort of what the jury are thinking, because these people here on the commenters have heard, obviously not in anywhere near as much detail, but they've heard something of the case, as with the jury. But this, some of these people have made up their mind that she's guilty. on this one, there we are. So still no evidence against the nurse. We've got some replies even from John. There isn't going to be a smoking gun. It was the same with the Beverly Alec case. Okay. And even this person, yeah, there was more evidence. So, yeah, 2 years ago they were kind of on the fence, kind of guilty. But let's have a look. How can I go back to something a bit more recent? Here we go. So after all's been said and done, you know, she'd been given the guilty verdict. Most of the people on this channel, at least according to the comments, assuming he hasn't edited them, if they retry her 15 times, there will be 15 convictions. So, you know, even now that all of this has come out about all of the doubts, you know, trying to explain why, you know, trying to explain, people explaining the fault in the evidence that were given, people are just not having it, you know. When will the nightmare end for the poor parents? 9 likes. I think that's probably leaning on the guilty side. I mean, unless they're thinking unless they're saying, I mean, to me, I would read it, when will the nightmare end for the poor parents of Lucy? But I suspect that's probably not what he meant. It's, opinion is not evidence unless the jury decides it is. Unfortunately, that is the case. Let's have a look. Someone's speechless, so they disagree with just to put this into context, the lawyer's going to be appealing again today, he announced. What else have we got? There are a couple of people now. Look at this guy. They made the right judgment to begin with. Guilty 100%. She is guilty. End this, please. Okay, this one. She wrote, "I am evil, I did this. Now give over." So, I mean, this person, that's obviously in reference to the note that she wrote. And for me, on the same note, she wrote, "I'm innocent," and so the way I read the post-it note is, and the way when Lucy was asked about it in a police interview, which the transcripts were put on this very channel, she did explain to the officer, I wrote that because that's what she said. I wrote that because that's what they were saying about me. That I'm evil and I did this. So, I mean, if they, you know, if she put quote marks, I don't know why I'm doing the movement. You can't see me. If she put quotation marks on that, I mean, would that make it better? I don't know. He said it was going into detail about, where's the money for the fight coming from? The poor parents? I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. Having a little pop at the guy who was reading the statement, nothing really about the case. Denied. My understanding is had been to appeal, denied, and that is the end of the show. So this is what, some of the opinions that these people are given is what the jury thought, because at the end of the day we know the jury found her guilty, even though there wasn't any evidence. Like this what the hell is going on? Clutching at straws. So, but we're at the her lawyers wanting to launch an appeal. So this person obviously thinks she's guilty, and that they're clutching at straws. The worst straw clutching performance I've ever seen. So this is what I'm not quite understanding. Why is it that for me there's no evidence? I'm thinking she's 100% innocent, even though I don't know her. And yet for all of these people with just as much information as I have been presented with, and the jury found her guilty, and I most definitely would not have found her guilty. Why is it that how is it that they have come to such different perspective than me? I mean, is it because I've somewhat been on the other end of this and been falsely accused before, not of killing babies obviously, but when someone says you've done something and you haven't, what is it that people don't quite understand about it? Okay, she admitted the babies were poisoned via insulin, but blamed her colleague. Well, look, it's not. That was a mistake, because it was in an entrapment. If a police officer said to you, told you someone's been stabbed to death, you would say, well, I didn't, and you obviously didn't do it. And they say, well, you admit this person's been stabbed then? Yeah, but I didn't do it. So she was presented with evidence saying that the baby had been poisoned with insulin when it actually hadn't. I mean, there was another one of John's crime scene to courtroom videos where the prosecution were asking Lucy how she thought the babies died, and she couldn't come up with an answer. And it's like, well, of course she doesn't know, of course she can't explain it, and nobody could explain it. That's why they're having that, that's why they were having inquiries into the excess deaths in the first place. I mean, it's not up to her to explain it. She's just going, if someone she much like the jury there, when told by the prosecution, oh, this has been poisoned with insulin, even though she was working at the hospital and she knows she didn't poison it, and probably can't believe that someone had poisoned the insulin, herself is convinced by the prosecution just as much as the jury are convinced by the prosecution that the insulin was poisoned. So she was taking their word for it. So it's like when they told her, here you go, here's the evidence, this has been poisoned. Okay, well, I mean, I didn't do it, but if you say it's been poisoned, there was I did have a look earlier, and there was a comment. Let me try and find. Here we go. About coincidences. God, he's got a question of a wet tissue. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay. So guilty. Yes. More it seems she's. Okay. Let me just read the whole thing. God, he's got the charisma of a wet tissue. The more they push for the retrial, the more it seems she's guilty. Yes, her defence team was pathetic, but there are too many coincidences. I'm convinced she did it. Now this word, this thing here, too many coincidences. Well, can you name one? There weren't any coincidences. Nothing coincided. What he's obviously referring to is she was on shift. Well, that's not a coincidence. She worked there. The way the graph, the way the table was made, the way the spreadsheet was made, the way the data was portrayed is they only looked at the deaths that she was on shift for and said she was on shift for them. There is no coincidence. She worked there where occasionally babies die. She worked there a lot. Quite a lot of babies died. I mean, nothing. There were other hospitals that had a even higher excess. Like, in order for there to be a coincidence, it needs something to coincide, and there's no coincidence. And yet this guy is under the impression there's not only been one coincidence, but there's been more than one, too many in fact. So what is going on in the jury's mind where they can't fathom something? Because let's not forget, the jury, this is what the jury thought. They voted guilty despite any evidence. And I was watching a quiz show the other day called, I would show it, but I'll probably get pinged by ITV or something, called The 1%. And so, bearing in mind, I don't know if you've seen the game show. They get 100 people on, and they ask them general knowledge questions, and they knock people off. So the people who, and obviously the winner wins a prize. And so the people who have applied for the show to start off with are gonna obviously try and win. So they should already be on a higher scale of they should already have an advantage over general members of the public because they've applied to be on a quiz show to win money. And this one question, I wish I might go and find it, but we were down to well, firstly, the first question was it was a picture of some guys boxing, and then a calendar next to it that said day, and the question was what festive day is this? And it's obviously Boxing Day. I mean, primary school kid could get it, and after 30 seconds, 1%, I think one or two people, for some reason, didn't get that right. And then they go to the next. There is a point to this anecdote. They go to the next round, and he puts up some football scores. It was sports scores: 2-1, 3-1, 4-2, and the different teams have got different names. And the question was, according to this chart, what team done the best? And this one girl, well, a couple of people again got it wrong and were eliminated. But Lee Mack, who presents it, like, sort of went over and asked, "Oh, what did you go for? How did you get it wrong, basically?" And this girl, I think she was very good looking. She didn't need any brains, but so she had applied to come on this show. She managed to get Boxing Day at least. And then when asked about, how did she get this wrong, she went, I just guessed. I liked the name. I think it was like All Stars or something. And she didn't look at the results. She just went, I just thought this one was best because I liked the name, and couldn't fathom that one team is doing better than another when they've won all three matches, compared to another one that had lost 2 matches and drawn one or something. And it just goes to show. So that was like 5. That was like 5% of people. And you've got the point to this anecdote is you've got 12 members on a jury. So odds are one of them or 2 of them are going to be as thick as that, and you're trusting your life for them to understand how to interpret when someone comes at them with a manipulated spreadsheet, trying to pretend that someone's been on shift and it's got and they've marked it as, she's been on shift for all these murders, and you're expecting someone like that, and you're trusting your life to someone like that to be able to critically think and interpret the data correctly. I mean, what they need to do some sort of tests on these. Perhaps I shouldn't blame the jury as much as I do, but I mean, look at this guy. What is the coincidence? What's the coincidence? Oh, she told too many lies. Also, so this person here agrees that there's been too many coincidences. I don't know. Are we in idiocracy? I don't know. Why do they think this? I think I know in some of my earlier videos I said my initial thought, and it was like a conspiracy theory, was that they're going to use this to get rid of jury trials. And even though in England they've had jury trials for, what was it, like 200 years or something, since the Magna Carta, and just recently Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has been questioning proposing to get rid of jury trials for some things, and part of me is thinking, I think I'd rather AI would judge me rather than coincidence man. Or in fact, not even bother with AI. Just put some balls into a hat and pick out guilty or not guilty, like a football draw. I think I'd rather have than this guy be on the jury.